Okay, cool. So this is going to be your first tutorial in C++ programming, and essentially what we're going to do in this program, in this tutorial, is we're just going to make a program that can simply output some text to the screen and kind of get acquainted to some of the processes we're going to be doing every time we kind of create a program with C++. So to get started here, let's go ahead and create a new file, file new, and we're going to call this a file, and I'm using code blocks to create my program. There's different editors you can use, environments. I use code blocks when I'm doing things like this just because it keeps it simple. So we're going to go C++ source. We're going to click go, and I'm going to skip this page next time. Next, C++, file name with path. And this is where we're probably going to differ a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and essentially overwrite a file that I've already created because I've already kind of done this tutorial before. And then I'm going to click finish. So now what you see here is we have a blank file opened up in the code blocks editor. So now what we want to do is we essentially just want to write the basic code that we need in order to be able to print things out to the console. So this is kind of just like the command line interface that you run in Windows. So to do this, what we're going to do is we're going to say hashtag include, and then we're going to have an opening less than sign, and then inside of that we're going to have IOStream, and at the end we're going to have a closing less than sign. And what this will do is it'll bring in a bunch of files that will then be used to be able to do things like print out to the screen. So it's going to be a bunch of code that's already written that you don't have to actually write that'll handle the actual printing to the screen. You just basically type that you want to print a message out, and then it will go out to the screen. Then we're going to do using and namespace std. And namespace std is just inside of IOStream. It's essentially just kind of wrapped around what we're going to be using to print out. It used to not be like that, but there's reasons for that go beyond the scope of this tutorial. But if you look down at our file now, I added this thing. It's int main opening paren, closing paren, then opening curly brace, closing curly brace. And what this is it's called a function. It's the main function. And what will happen is every time that we run our program that we are creating here, C++, it's going to look for this main function right here, and it's going to call it every single time. So essentially it's just a block of code that's going to run every single time your program is ran. So what we want in here is we want to go ahead and print out the message hello world. So we're going to cout, and then we have cout space less than opening quotation mark, double quotation mark, and then a closing double quotation mark, less than, and then we're going to have end line. So what we have here is essentially just a way to print out to the screen that right now we're printing a blank message. But go back inside of your parentheses, and not parentheses, your quotation marks, and let's go ahead and print whatever you feel like you want to. For my case, I'm just going to print hello world, and at the very end here, because the return type of our main function is integer, we're going to return 0. You probably won't understand that part at this point, but I'm introducing you to the terminology for later. So go ahead and build and run. And as you see here, I actually got an error when I ran. I forgot a semicolon at the end of this line. Semicolons at the end of lines are very important in C++. And think of it kind of like the period at the end of a sentence. So after that, we're going to go ahead and we're going to build and run one more time. And this time it should actually pop up. Oh, crap. Oh, it's going. There we go. So there is the first C++ tutorial. In the next tutorial, we'll go over a little bit more of, kind of what it takes to print out different statements. And we're also going to go into variables and input. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe.